Hi, you're watching a special session of Vantage Point, and today I'm going to be with the best of the people who's looking at marketing in this whole global world, but not just to make profit, but how to bridge the gaps that we already have in society. And world leaders at the turn of the century has looked at 8 core initiatives for Millennium Development Goal. And in 2015, we're going to sit there and look at what has been achieved and not been achieved. But if you look at it, even if we have not achieved a few things, what more can we do to move forward? Because these 8 goals must be achieved to have a more sustainable global world and to have a more society that looks at justice, to make it simple. And with that, we know that even in our own country, we're looking at the needy, 20 cents rise of petrol, and some people might not feel it, but others feel it very, very much. So where can we bridge this gap? I want to say that maybe we haven't really looked at marketing and the role that it can play to bridge this gap. So with me today, 2 key people of World Marketing Summit Malaysia 2013, and this is a very, very important summit because this is the second time. The first one was done not in Malaysia, but thanks to these 2 key people beside me today, they have managed to bring it to Malaysia for the first time. Closest to me, I would like to welcome all the way from France, Dr. Marceline Lemarié. I hope I pronounced that right, organizing chairperson of World Marketing Summit Malaysia, and Joanne Yeo, a long list of things that she has done. But I want to associate her with Soroptimis International, region of Malaysia, and she's promised to put me as a special member in Soroptimis International, region of Malaysia. But you've been looking at a lot of women empowerment issues, and you want to look at MDG 3 especially. But before that, I have to go to the French connection here. And you're almost like Obama. You have Indonesian blood in your DNA, and somehow you fell in love with Malaysia and helped do great things for us and helped to bring this World Marketing Summit, because I do know that Philip Kotler just don't do any initiative and don't just go to any place. He's very, very strategic. So if you have managed to convince him and the rest of the gang to bring it here, they must be for good reason. So if you can help enlighten on that, and maybe with this just one summit, we can help correct perceptions, move things forward to see that marketing is not just in the purview of the rich and the have, but also to help the have-nots and bridge the gaps that we have in our society here today.
It's true. At first, Malaysia is a very advanced country compared to other countries in the region. And geographically, it's exactly in the center. That's the first point. The second point, if you see the involvement of Malaysia the last 50 years, I'm very impressed. I'm personally very impressed. And Philip Kotler is very impressed. The first thing that he told me is that I would like this summit to be hosted in Putrajaya International Convention Center, because every country in the world should replicate what Malaysia did, means the administrative center outside the capitals. The other point was, why do you switch the light during the 60 or the Earth Hour? This is the power of marketing, because you saw this Earth Hour billboard or poster is the reason why you switch off the light. That is the power of marketing. Changing behavior, changing your way that you live, changing the way that you consume. You put red ribbon for AIDS. That is the power of marketing. This is the power that marketing has. Now, moving towards, Philip Kotler believes that you can create a better world through marketing, doing good, in the same time doing well. So what we understand is that globally, 79% of the Malaysians think it is okay for a brand to make profit and in the same time to defend causes. Statement. The second part that is very important is that for the same price and the same product, if the corporation behind is making or defending good causes, the customer is ready, 80% of them, to switch brand. So then here you have this new normal that is saying purpose and profit, the new normal. Okay. And this is a study that has been carried forward by Edelman, and it has confirmed around the world that this trend is really there. So for the sake of consuming a product, it's not worth. Now you have to understand also another point is that 80% of the CSR program that the big corporations are doing are towards the 8 Millennium Development Goals. They have beautiful program for women, for education, for environment, for poverty, and this is directly linked. And Malaysia is one of the countries that has pledged to the United Nations to contribute to the 8 Millennium Development Goals. So that's the reason why marketing, in fact, however you want, became the tool where it allows corporations to express more and a better way that they are not only making profit, but they are good corporations defending big causes. Okay. So you gain the heart of the people and you gain the hearts of the corporation because of the purpose. And after price and product, remember, the biggest purchase trigger is the cause, is the purpose. So I think we need to mobilize more. Government have their role to play, for sure, not an issue about it. But corporations have also their role to play. And NGOs has also have their role to play. And NGOs are filling gaps where corporation cannot be and government cannot be. And sometimes both of them want to close their eyes, but the only person that does not close their eyes are really the NGOs. It's the reason why people like Joanne are really important in a social environment to address societal issue that is important. What is important for women might not be for men, but what Soroptimism has created for the past, I think, 100 years.
Going to be 100 in 2021.
Okay.
It's huge. You cannot, on the bracket, close your eyes on women issues where they are the one who is giving birth. They are the one who are creating an environment. In Europe, we used to say, hey, how do you want me to do? You want me to be a businesswoman, go back in home, cook, do the laundry, take education for the children? Where is my life? Where is my life? And then additionally, you get abuse, additionally, you get a problem, and you cannot talk. So these NGOs are very important for the balance of the population in a country, and we need to take care of them. And I know that most of the corporations, in addition to do CSR, they do also support NGOs. It's the reason why we come on the scene by saying this World Marketing Summit is not only for the sake of making profit. We are a non-profit organization. Okay. But what we do is that we help NGOs. For example, every ticket you have to purchase by Soroptimism Malaysia, 500 ringgit goes to them in order that they can continue their work.
Okay, cool. You also speak 6 other languages, and you can say it through the other 6, but we get the message loud and clear here. I have to go for the first commercial break, but once I'm back, I want to go to Joanne, and I want to throw that idea to you, and you can think during the break. It's the new normal, but there's the heritage and baggages of the old. And it's because of marketing. Yes, we have the red ribbon and stuff, but it's because of marketing also. I myself have been challenged on that because they look at me and I represent the media, that when it comes to women, why is there women on top of the Ferrari's car whenever you have anything? That's also because of marketing. So how do we move from there to the new empowered women like in Sweden, where more than half the lawmakers are female, and you have not just maternal leave, but you have paternal leave, where even the husband can take 30 or 90 days off just to look at the newborn, take care of the newborn, for example. That was discussed after the short break. Hi, you're still watching Vantage Point, and at the end of this month, a very, very funky hip happening, but with great soul. A summit is happening at PICC. I will tell you more about it, the World Marketing Summit Malaysia, but I've delayed Joanne for long enough. I'm going to give you your time now, but where do we go before this issue of sexy ladies on top of a car, any new car being launched, to empowered, powerful ladies in the boardroom, for example? We're still talking about glass ceilings, for example. So you sit in between that. You sit in between the issues, especially like a country like Malaysia, where a mother goes to the paddy field for about 8 hours a day, come back at night, still have to look at the education of the child when she herself didn't get as much good education as the child, but she has to bring them all up because the husband has got maybe to travel far away just to get a livelihood for the family. But now, in Asia especially, we are grappling at with all these changes at breakneck speed. On one hand, we still have the changing of the traditional nucleus of family. On the other hand, we have higher empowered leaders representing our country, even in United Nations, for example. So you sit in between. How do you see this, looking through the glass of marketing?
The lady who goes to the paddy field and still does his 8 hours of work, she will be basically shielded from whatever is happening at the top. Whatever powered ladies are going, for her, what is her focus? Her family, bread and butter. This is where I think we need to focus on what we need to bring equality back, all right, into the system where the poor can go beyond that poverty level. This is the critical thing. And if you look at many of our, if you look at the world population, okay, the women are actually 50%, but there's 70% of them are poor. It mirrors back into some of the poor areas that we have. We don't need to look too far. We look at some of the urban poor, for example. Many of them, you'll be surprised, are single mothers, whether their husband has left them or the husband has died and they have to fend for themselves. So, although we say that, you know, we here in the urban areas see all the marketing as in the flashy cars and the gadgets and everything else. And when we pass by areas like Desa Mentari, we have not even gone in to see how they live. Optimis International Club of Damansara is actually supporting one of these areas. This is the urban poor. This is in Desa Mentari. The children there, we support them through education. And you should see the children. They don't have, there's a big gap between what they have, what they would like to have. But they know also that, hey, you know, when I finish my Form 5, what do I do? And this is where this is where we come in as the NGOs, because we find that the government is not doing enough. The children, for example, come out and tell us, you know, I cannot study there on because I don't think academically I'm good, but I'm good in my hands, you know, and I want to do computer repair, for example. So forget about all the flash parts, look at the bread and butter. These are people talking about poverty and they want to come out of poverty. And where I see one of the critical things is education. Education is key. If we educate the corporations that there are causes out there that need your attention, that the general youth that are disengaged, are dropouts, for example, can they be given a better opportunity? Can they be given something that fits their talents and yet can make something in life?
Joanne, maybe it's about breaking the vicious cycle. If you're already marginalized the day you were born, it's so hard to climb out of this hole that society has forgotten you for. But we have just launched the National Education Blueprint, the final report. And when I look at the stats associated with that, most of the educationists, they are women. Most of the students also, especially in higher education, they are females. So maybe it has come full circle also in terms of the empowerment now are back in the hands of the women to make a difference. It's not adversarial. Sometimes some people just think women gender and all these issues, it's all about women wanting to be like men. But maybe that's not the issue. The issue is, if we give and empower women, all the other problems in the MDG targets can also be solved, because they will help eradicate poverty. Yes. They will make sure that these diseases that we're fighting will get the awareness and knowledge will get even to their children. They will become more aware and they'll get help, for example. How do you look at marketing in being able to help empower women that way? Because otherwise, I might be a 35-year-old powerful female executive with 3 kids, but if nobody knows about me, especially when decision makers are still male, then I wouldn't be even given the chance to vie for a position to break the glass ceiling.
Actually, if you look at it, what you're telling me is all boils down to actually funding. I mean, to get them into out of this is actually funding so that they can empower themselves. They can take up a trade. They can do something with their hands. It's not just looking at studying, but something beyond just the university. Women who have got talents, for example, like dressmaking, tailoring, can be their own entrepreneurs. And this is where I feel the corporations can come in. This is what we talk about, the new term called social entrepreneur, right? Where the women are there wanting to do a livelihood, and the corporations can be there to support them. So if you look at the way, I'm sorry to say, but I still feel that the education need to address a certain area which is what I call vocational. You must go beyond just the paper, just to have a paper qualifications, but the ability for the women to be able to have sources of finance, whether it's microcredit, whether it's some kind of loan. You ask a lady to go to, say, any of the banks, they say that they lend you for a business. The first thing they ask is, do you have collateral? Where would this lady come? But if you look at Grameen Bank, who has actually given 0.
99.8% repayment rate.
Exactly.
Compared to traditional banking,
exactly.
That's so stringent, and they have non-performing loans of more than 10%, for example. So we have to go for the last break, but once we are back, I want to come from another angle, because you have Asian connection, we are Asians, and I think the World Marketing Summit Malaysia should be able to make Malaysia as the hub for Asia to bring this new normal thinking into society. So after this break, I want to look at values. Maybe in the 20th century, marketing was not so much equated with values, but to change or to move to improve society in Asia, we can't run away from values. We've looked at the Western model, we look at their technology, but somehow we don't want to take it on block because we want to adapt it to our way of life, our culture and our quality of life. So how can marketing, from the highbrow, glitzy world of full-fledged frontier marketing, go to social marketing and others to really make a difference without uprooting the values that we want to hold dear, and instead complement all these good values? Because if family is the smallest nucleus of any society, then I would argue the power is the hand of women, because every Asian would know, every average Asian would know that it's the mother that keeps the family together regardless. That we'll discuss after this short break. Hi, World Marketing Summit is happening at PICC at the end of this month. Two great ladies here with me, and we're already enjoying this discussion on MDG and how marketing can play a role to fulfill all those targets. I personally believe that even those targets that are not met by 2015 will be met if we take a new way of looking at things, and looking at it through marketing is one way, and the new normal, as Marceline said, but values, at the end of the day, whatever way we use, it's got to go back to that, especially for Asia, and the bottom 40% of the world reside in Asia. So how do we move that?
Why you don't ask all the CEOs in the country to do the walk the talk, to support all the women and walk?
I wish I could. But actually there were some CEOs that were walking with us. There were some men who actually walked with us. And they were from CEOs. They were not your big companies, but they were their own entrepreneurs and friends.
So it's easier to get the smaller ones.
Yes.
Let's go to the French connection here. You've traveled the world and you know Europe very well. Big corporations there seem to be very honest in achieving the MDG goals.
There are, and what is reality in fact is that we have almost achieved the 8 Millennium Development Goals. But we need to go one step beyond, and this is the question of how far can we go and what can we contribute more. For example, it is not only the Malaysian issue regarding the woman, it is replicated all around the world because surreoptimism is international. It's an international NGOs that face different problems in different countries. And the beauty of it is they can interact and exchange how they find solutions. And this is what, in fact, the idea that we in the World Marketing Summit love about Surreoptimism International is that they're able to help each other.
Okay, I only have a few minutes left, so I want to put this into practical perspective. In the corporation, big ones especially, there'll be a chief marketing officer, but chief marketing officer will have to fight with chief financial officer. And too many times, CFO will say, to me, it's the bottom line. It's black and white. Companies have to make profit, and profit it is. But if the chief marketing officer who had gone to World Marketing Summit, for example, will say, it's not necessarily that you have to make that profit without improving the quality of life of all stakeholders.
In fact, it's more than this, is that to all chief marketing officers and CEOs, it's the new normal, what we said, is how to make more money, in fact, not less money on it's a cost, it's how to make more money by putting purpose before profit.
So doing and achieving purpose, it's not just a cost center that bleeds money out, but actually the other way, bring more money.
And this is what the Nobel Prize of Environment, Dr. Ashok Khosla, who is one of our speakers, will explain, that there are an untapped potential of making huge profit in small, medium enterprises and also in areas that we never believe in it. If you invest in a woman that is, for example, very good in the hands and making nice clothes, if you can invest because you put machines and R&D with it and she has the idea how to design it, it will catalyze. It gives her a job, a fair job, allows the children to go to school, and in the same times it's a regenerative resources. So that's what Dr. Ashok Khosla is going to say.
Okay, Joanne, we have about 2 minutes left.
Yes.
And a Malaysian example of that.
I give you an example which is very near here. Surreoptimism International was involved in a major project around Chiang Rai, the hill tribes and the natives in that area. The families would sell their children for prostitution, their girls for prostitution, just because they don't have money. So when we went there, what we did was we educated them. We said, you don't need to sell your children for prostitution. We will teach you how to actually do cottage industries, HIV awareness, educate your children, educate your girls especially, and you can sell the goods and have a sustainable livelihood. And that was nearer to home. It was a fantastic success. It was called SIAM, Surreoptimism International AIDS Mediation.
And they need marketing in order to be able to sell this product, in order that the consumers knows that by consuming this product, they are not only having a product in hand, but in the same time giving back to the society and helping this woman.
It's a whole cycle of things. It's the new normal, as you put it. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, Joanne. Thanks to you for tuning in. And don't forget, PICC, Putrajaya, the end of this month, you can be with greatest world thought leaders on how to look at marketing and bridge all the divides that have been earmarked under the MDG, Millennium Development Goals. I'll see you in another episode very, very soon. Goodbye. Thank you so much.